from the National News Studio, Sri Lanka.
Hello there, good evening. Welcome to the National News broadcast. I'm Niket Karunaratne together with Dulanjali Ananda. Minister Gamman Pilla says no decision has been taken to increase fuel prices. The CEB makes a special request to consume electricity sparingly. A specialist consultant who had secured a bountiful harvest through organic farming. The Kuragala sacred site is once again subjected to revival. The US President makes a stern statement regarding not to conduct any more discussions with Russia. On our top story for today, we look into concerns of increasing fuel prices. This matter was taken up for discussion in Parliament today, where ministers expressed their ideas.
Minister Uday Gamman says that a decision has not been taken at yesterday's special cabinet meeting to increase the prices. He was responding to a query raised by MP Mohammed Musammil in Parliament today. MP Mohammed Musammil of the Sri Lanka Podujana Peramuna said that vehicle queues were seen at every filling station. He added that there is a rumour regarding fuel shortage. Minister Uday Gamman Pilla said that last Saturday they had opened a letter of credit by crediting funds to the banks. A ship has been unloading fuel since Monday morning. The minister also said that yesterday's emergency meeting and Treasury Secretary had instructed the Bank of Ceylon to provide necessary funds for the unloading of another ship carrying diesel. Accordingly, unloading of diesel has commenced. There is another ship laden with petrol stocks at sea. Minister Gamman Pilla also said that the Minister of Finance has promised to provide the necessary foreign exchange for the procurement of fuel and other essential commodities. The minister, in response to another query on fuel price revision from Mohammed Musammil, said that they have increased the price of fuel for the last time on the 20th of December last year. At that time, the price of a barrel of Brent crude oil was $62. However, by yesterday, the price was increased to $99. The minister further said that deepening on the intensity of the Ukraine-Russia crisis, the specialists have predicted that the price of the barrel of oil may exceed $100 today.
In further news, the President says that his expectation is to see the public service is being appropriately fulfilled by all state institutions. He has made these remarks at a special meeting with state officials at the President's office this morning. The objective of the meeting was to enlighten state officials regarding the government's future plans. The President at this occasion has stated that the majority of state employees are willing to work. What is needed is to supervise work, to give instructions and to encourage them to enable the country to receive the services in a constructive manner. The President has also pointed out the need on the personal mediation and leadership of all high-ranking officials from governors, ministry, provincial and district officials. The President further said that he personally visits state institutions and supervises work. He added that he expects governors and other state officials to encourage workers to reach a higher output. He has reminded that they are in the government to make people alive. The necessary environment should be prepared to fulfill this objective. Therefore, the duties responsible for this humane nature of the officials are extremely official. The President has further reiterated that in discharging services, that Council should stick to a single state policy. The green agriculture is one of the main programs of the government. Out of the 75% of the rural population, 90% of them are engaged in agriculture or in related livelihoods. The organic farming is for the well-being and health of the future generation. Therefore, they should be educated and encouraged, as well as to strengthen confidence regarding the government programs. The President has further pointed out that distribution of organic fertilizer of high quality at the appropriate time would enable to reap successful results. The President has further stated that renewable power sources could be made use to enhance increasing power needs. He has requested to implement short-term and long-term measures to fulfill the government's targets. He has also stressed on the need to manage the local economy through a program based on self-sufficiency. The President has also pointed out that they could be satisfied on the harvest reached on the provincial level through application of organic fertilizer in cultivations. The lessons learnt from the Maha season should be made use for the success of the Yala season. State Minister Shashindra Rajapaksha has pointed out that the government's planning in this connection.
The Ceylon Electricity Board requests the consumers to be extremely careful in using electricity. The board points out that it has become compulsory to discontinue for several hours of the day due to prevalence of a fuel crisis in the country. Steps have been taken to enforce power cuts ranging from 4 and 5 hours in all provinces in the island today as well. The power cuts are being conducted between 8:30 a.m. and 10:30 p.m. The national grid is losing 1,628 megawatts of electricity due to the fuel shortage and water shortage. The Public Utility Commission says they were able to restrict the power cuts to a period of 4 and 1/2 hours, although the 7-hour power cut has been anticipated. The Commission further says that they would be able to further curtail power cuts if they receive fuel stocks appropriately. The CEB requests the general public to cooperate by minimizing the usage of power during this critical period.
It has been pointed out that many groups who have turned towards organic farming are reaping results. These days, the national television has come across a special person who has also exerted his efforts in cultivations using organic fertilizer. He's a specialist physician and engaged in farming in Kolonava. The owner of the farmland is specialist consultant Dr. Punsit Gunavardhana. He has resorted to organic farming in order to fulfill the vegetables and fruits requirement for consumption of his family. After realizing the harmful health effects through consumption of food processed by means of chemical fertilizer, he was engaged in cultivating activities while fulfilling his professional requirements in life. Dr. Punsit Gunavardhana was initially involved in the cultivation of local varieties of potatoes. Thereafter, he has directed his attention on the cultivation of low-country vegetables. The physician adds that he is now receiving a bountiful harvest from his cultivations.
The Sri Lanka Gems and Jewellery Association has taken measures to include a display stall at the Dubai Expo exhibition. 25 blue sapphires of an extremely high value will be exhibited in Sri Lanka stall on the 26th of this month. A group of representatives of the association has met the Prime Minister at the Temple Trees yesterday with the objective of enlightening him in this regard.
The Sri Lankan stall at the exhibition will be conducted by taking into consideration the higher worldwide demand for Sri Lankan blue gems. A video creation by the name of Sapphire Sri Lanka is also scheduled to be unveiled on this occasion. This video proposes foreign tourists arriving in Sri Lanka to purchase a blue sapphire as a souvenir when they leave the island. It has also been disclosed that specialist in gems and jewellery Hebby Helen Molesworth is scheduled to deliver a lecture the day before the holding of the exhibition. A ceremony to appreciate Dr. Gamini Vijaysurya, who has been felicitated with the highest award by the Rome-based International Centre for the Conservation and Reconstruction of Cultural Property, or the ICC Romi Institute, was held at the Temple Trees last evening. Prime Minister Mahinda Rajapaksha has presided over the event. The ICC Romi Institute has been engaged in awarding 50 awards for professionals engaged in numerous fields of studies since the year 1969. Only 3 awards have been presented to South Asia, and this was the first occasion of a Sri Lankan being felicitated with an award. We speak with great pride over the Buddhist heritage of the country. The viharas built by our forefathers are amazing even in today's context.
Another location which we could identify with respect is Kuragala Sacred. This venerated land, which was subjected to the harmful influences of the extremists, is reviving once again. This is an inquiry on the Kuragala site.
ලෝකනාද එඹසිය වර සසුනට පුදකල අතිපූජනීය මහරහතු සදහම් වදහල.
The Kuragala village is located in the Kalthota Divisional Secretariat Division in Kadawatha Madakorala Hela Udapatpuwa in Ratnapura district in the Sabaragamu province. The Kuragala Rajamahawihara is comprised of the trinity of Kuragala, the Lodging Rock and the Hituangala mountains. The history of the place dates back to the era of Balangoda Manavaya, 16,000 years ago. Many interesting facts have been disclosed through archaeological evidence. The Kuragala had been consisted of the network of Aramayas where Arahat Theras had stayed since 3rd century BC. This Buddhist heritage, with a history of 2,300 years, had been subjected to sophisticated actions of destruction by extremists in the past 50 years. Brahmin letterings could be found in 14 caves used by the Maha Arahat Theras. The extremists had destroyed all these caves. The Buddhist people in Sri Lanka have been raising a voice over the protection of Kuragala sacred site for the past 50 years. President Gotabaya Rajapaksa had visited the Kuragala site in year 2013 and saw by himself the destruction created.
දැන් මෙතන බැලුවොත් බලන්න මේක කිසිම වටිනාකමක් දැන් නැහැනේ. මේ කටකරන් ගහලා ඕගොල්ලෝම කල්පනා කරලා බලන්න. නියමයි වටිනාකම බැලුවොත් එහෙම අපි බලනකොට අවුරුදු කීයක් විතර යනවද? 2200 ගාණක්. පුරාවිද්‍යාවට බාර දුන්නාන් පස්සේ ඕන එක්කෙනෙකුට ඇවිල්ලා වැඳීමේ කිසිම ප්‍රශ්නයක් නැහැ.
President had taken measures to develop the Kuragala site by dismantling all unauthorized constructions. Yet, as a result of the transferring of power in year 2015, the Kuragala had once again come under clutches of the extremists. It was 2 years ago that Venerable Vathura Kumbure Dhammaratana Thera had visited the Kuragala sacred site and taken the initiative to trample all activities of the extremists. Venerable Dhammaratana Thera is the architect of the massive revival of the Kuragala development project. Under the Kuragala development project, the biggest chaitya in the Sabaragamu province is being constructed with a Sangha Vasa, a sacred relic chamber, meditation center, park and reservoirs.
Moving into more local news. Chairperson of Sri Lanka Tourism Development Authority, Kimali Fernando, says that Sri Lanka is on track to achieve the set target of 1.1 million tourist arrivals in the country. The chairperson made these remarks while addressing the ceremony held to launch the One Island, 1,000 Treasures, a destination promotion campaign. The One Island, 1,000 Treasures campaign was launched by Cinnamon Hotels and Resorts in association with Sri Lanka Tourism. The initiative expects to unveil the unknown stories and paint a unique picture of culturally relevant stories behind Sri Lanka. Under the campaign, digital content creators will be able to record their experiences and share them with the Cinnamon Hotels and Resorts team via the One Island, 1,000 Treasures website or social media platforms. Secretary to the Ministry of Tourism, Siripala Hettiarachchi, Vice President of John Keel's Holdings, Dilip Mudadeniya, and Head of Denzil Grant, Neela Marikar, were also present on this occasion.
You can all be proud of the vaccination drive that we have had a very successful vaccination drive in Sri Lanka. Sri Lanka has been open for business, for tourists since last year, and we are on track to achieve 50% of our best year, which is 2018. We are well on track to achieve that. Our target is to achieve 1.1 million tourist arrivals. Not only the number of arrivals, but a yield that tourists spend. And they will spend on experience exactly what Cinnamon Group is venturing into right now. They are no longer looking for cookie cutter products. They are looking to experience the authentic Sri Lanka. And we have so much to be proud of. And as Sri Lankans, I stand here today as a proud Sri Lankan, together with all of you, and say that we've successfully handled COVID. As all citizens, we can handle this even better. We have to look at areas where we can, on our own, do our part to keep our destination sustainable. Whether we reduce the use of plastic, whether we keep the place clean, how we treat our visitors, international visitors, how we see them as guests to our country. And they will be the biggest way to market our country. Not so much putting an advertisement from Sri Lanka Tourism, which we will also do. But I think it is eventually the visitor who will come and speak on behalf of our country.
We are all aware that there is a dollar shortage in the country these days. If we are able to increase export income by providing local food items without poisons to the international food market, then it would become one of the measures to resolve the problem.
This story, reported from Britain, is a fine example of an opportunity to exchange foreign income from Sri Lanka. The BBC World Service has reported the story of a jackfruit sold at the staggering price of 160 sterling pounds at the Borough Food Market in London. In Sri Lankan rupees, this values to more than 40,000. The story has been reported by Brazilian BBC correspondent Ricardo Sinira. According to the BBC report, people in many jackfruit growing countries have become upset after listening to the news item. Some countries have even devised plans to export jackfruit produce to Britain. The jackfruit that was on display at the Borough Market was not from Sri Lanka but was imported from Brazil. Jackfruit is being exported at a lower level due to difficulties encountered in exporting. Canned jackfruit is available in the market at a selling price of 850 rupees. However, many British consumers are reluctant to buy these tins of fruits as they are not tasty. We'll continue with more local news after this short break.
Welcome back. Health authorities urge the public to receive the booster dose in order to avert another COVID outbreak in the country.
This is a precautionary method to ensure that all of them are vaccinated, and this prohibition will be towards the entering the public places only. So because if somebody does not want to take the vaccine, so that's their wish, but at the same time they can't put the lives of the other people into risk. So that's why we are going to ensure that greater majority of the population are vaccinated. That is a decision that was taken to ensure that we control the spread of the disease in the country. So whilst we bring in, where we enact certain regulations, we kindly request all the population of the country, those who are eligible to take vaccination, to go and take the booster dose. That is for the greater interest of the people of this country. Otherwise, we don't want to penalize anybody for not taking the vaccine, but at the same time, they cannot spread the disease to the other people.
Around 800,000 people are reported to have not taken a single vaccine up to now, and this is also something that is of very concern. So therefore, we would like to inform that anyone who has so far taken their vaccine to get their appropriate vaccines as early as possible, and make sure that you all are personally protected and entire country will be protected if the majority of our people are vaccinated at a given time. And also, most of the time, the school children who are supposed to get the vaccine, Pfizer vaccine, will be given at the school, because all these schools, there will be arrangements to get the second dose of vaccine on an appropriate date as organized by the MOH. However, after getting the advice of the medical officer of the area, if someone is having any specific need to get the vaccine outside the school, this can be done in consultation with the area medical officer of health. However, we know that even those who have left the school after exam and other people are also eligible to get the vaccination at school, as we have already issued instructions to the schools to give the booster dose of vaccine to adults who are associated with these schools, like the parents and other academic and non-academic staff and similar stakeholders. So therefore, this facility is available. You can get the vaccine from the school or in any other place in consultation with the medical officer of health of the area.
According to an analysis of the United States government data, COVID-19 vaccines are unlikely to trigger a rare inflammatory disorder linked to coronavirus infections in children. The condition is a rare complication in children who have had COVID-19 and very rarely affects adults. According to the analysis, although the condition often leads to hospitalization, most patients recover. A few cases reported in people with no detectable evidence of coronavirus infection has prompted researchers to undertake the new analysis. Experts say that strong evidence suggests that vaccination protects kids from getting COVID-19 as well as the condition. Meanwhile, Russia reports the highest daily COVID-19 cases in the world. Russia has reported more than 137,640 cases, 785 more deaths from COVID-19 during the past 24 hours. Health officials say that the cold weather has led to the spread of the new variants of the virus.
The plantation sector extends higher contribution to the national economy. Large numbers of professionals are connected to this field. 10 professionals who have committed themselves for the well-being of the plantation sector were subjected to a special felicitation yesterday. The President has presided over the ceremony held in this connection. The 10 professionals have been presented the honorary professional membership of the National Plantation Management Institute. In parallel to this event, 10 other professionals in the plantation sector were handed over chartered professional membership. In addition, 5 more professionals were felicitated with allied professional membership. Accordingly, 224 students who have completed training at the National Plantation Management Institute have been presented with certificates by the President.
In more local news, the Ministry of Environment has allocated 100 million rupees for the Muthurajavela Wetlands Conservation Project. The area, comprising of 6,236 hectares, has been named as an environmentally sensitive zone. Some groups identify the wetland as the lung of the Colombo residents. The reason being this location is functioning as a filter of underground water layer in the Colombo district. This land is also considered to be extending significant contribution to minimize air pollution in the Colombo capital city. However, due to unsystematic human activities, the Muthurajavela wetland has been subjected to numerous crises for several decades. Minister of Environment Mahinda Amaravira was engaged in a fact-finding tour in these locations. As a result, measures have been taken to cancel environmental licenses.
If you are a lover of arts and literature, then you are able to add a new meaning to your life by joining the State Drama Festival currently being conducted. The long drama selected for the final round at the 2021 State Drama Festivals is scheduled to be staged from today until the 6th of next month. The staging of short plays selected for the final round has ended yesterday. The long drama titled Anti-Kade Maranayak, directed by Ashoka Handagama, is being staged at the Elphinstone Theatre. The National Television is the media sponsor of the State Drama Festival, jointly organised by the Sri Lanka Arts Board and the State Drama Advisory Council.
We'll be back with foreign news after this short break. Welcome back. In foreign news, we'll take a look into an update on the Ukraine crisis, which has been a matter of much dispute across the world. For an in-depth discussion on this matter, we have with us our foreign analyst, Prasad Dodangorege. So, what can we expect from this Ukraine crisis?
Yes, Nikhil. We can feel the winds of war in the eastern Ukrainian region. The tension is building up day by day. And we can see some development. I have a list of developments just grabbed from international news websites. The Ukraine government has today declared the state of emergency. And at the same time, it has urged its citizens who are living in Russia to come back to Ukraine. So it will be a daunting task for the Ukrainian government to bring these people back to Ukraine, because we know the border between Ukraine and Russia is already very hot, and bringing such a large number of people through this border will be a nightmare. At the same time, we can see the Ukraine government, if they use another method even, it could be a chaos, because we saw the situation, what happened in Afghanistan a few months back, when the United States of America was trying to evacuate Afghan citizens. So this one development. And we have to question about, Niket, the diplomatic solution for this crisis. Are the diplomatic channels still open? That's the question. Because the US President Joe Biden today announced that there will be no further talks with his Russian counterpart Vladimir Putin regarding Ukrainian crisis. So that will be a stalemate, and it could affect very badly to the situation, the current development. And at the same time, the military cooperation between the Western nations and Ukraine, it's also growing. It's one concern of Russia, because today the United Kingdom announced that they are going to enhance the military cooperation with Ukraine. They will provide some military aid to Ukraine. However, the Labour Party, the major opposition of United Kingdom, they criticize Prime Minister Boris Johnson, because the Labour Party thinks that Boris Johnson must do more to pressure Russia related to this situation. And the situation of sanctions. Now we know yesterday the UK imposed sanctions on 5 Russian banks and 3 wealthy Russians. At the same time, the Germans move, we discussed, and United States of America and European Union, they are waging situation. They will also follow the actions of United Kingdom in related with the issue of sanctions. Then finally, what's the current response of Russia? Actually, Russia today, we don't see any official statement from the Russian government. However, yesterday Russia officially recognized the 2 breakaway regions of Ukraine, namely Donetsk and Luhansk. Those regions were in war with Ukraine since 2014. However, the Russian government very clearly stated that they are going to move their troops into those regions as peacekeepers. The move that will highly criticized by the Western nations.
The Ukraine crisis is quite a matter of dispute indeed. Thank you for joining us, Prasad. We'll take a look into more foreign news.
Meanwhile, Minister Dr. Ramesh Patrana made remarks over the ongoing Ukraine crisis while speaking at the cabinet briefing yesterday.
I was referring to that matter as a matter of indirect matter in relation to rising oil prices of the world, actually. I hope and pray that there won't be a war in that region. If it happens so, invariably the oil prices will go up. So that will badly affect the Sri Lankan economy, as you can see now. So oil prices are soaring. It has gone up to the highest level in the recent past. So we hope that it won't happen so. Peace will remain and retain in the world. If that happens so, the prices will go down again. But as at now, it's very unfortunate that we have to succumb to those conditions and the prices have gone up. Invariably, the Sri Lankan oil prices have also might go up in time to come because of this situation.
A massive black bear named Hank the Tank is wanted by California police for breaking into dozens of homes in Lake Tahoe neighborhood since last summer. The bear burglar weighs 227 kilograms, much more than the average bear, and appears to have skipped hibernation in winter due to a constant food supply. Authorities say euthanization may be necessary because the wild animal has grown so comfortable around humans. Wildlife groups are calling for him to be relocated to a sanctuary. Hank earned his nickname by hungrily barging his way into locked and occupied homes. The bear is also crowned King Henry in the press. Hank is readily identifiable due to his exceptionally large size and dark coat with a lighter muzzle. According to the South Lake Tahoe Police Department, normal, non-lethal methods of bear hazing, such as beanbag munitions, sirens and dry-firing police tasers, have not been successful in driving Hank away.
Angry Kenyans have been taking to social media to protest about the high cost of living in the country, driven by a spike in the cost of basic commodities, including food, electricity and fuel. Using the hashtag lower food prices, Kenyans have criticized the government for failing to stem the rise in prices everyday items, which they say has made life unbearable. The prices of basic food commodities like maize flour and wheat flour, potatoes, vegetables and fruits continued rising, which disproportionately impact low and middle income households. Food inflation for the month of January stood at 9%. The Kenya National Bureau of Statistics say for poorer households the burden is even higher. Many people shared their shopping list detailing how prices of basic food items like milk, bread, sugar and maize flour had spiked sharply in recent months, making it difficult for them to afford 3 meals a day. The increase in the cost of living can be attributed to a combination of external and domestic factors. Under pressure from the International Monetary Fund to raise more revenue, the government has increased taxes on everyday household goods such as cooking gas, fuel and food.
In more foreign news, police in the city of Amsterdam in Netherlands are responding to a hostage situation at an Apple store in the city. Officers were called to an armed robbery yesterday afternoon, which became a hostage-taking. Amsterdam police said that specialist officers are on site to deal with an armed individual and several people have managed to leave the store. Police also asked people in the area to stop sharing images or live streams on social media for the safety of those still inside the buildings. Images circulating in Dutch media appeared to show a man waving a firearm in one hand while holding another person in his other arm. It is reported by the local media that nearby witnesses had reported hearing gunshots as the incident began, but police have not confirmed this. A heavy police presence involving dozens of officers surrounded the cordoned-off square, and people have been asked to avoid the area.
Exceeding rare fossil of giant flying reptile discovered on Scottish Island. A spectacular three-dimensional fossil of one previously unknown pterosaur has been discovered on the shore of the Isle of Skye off the west coast of Scotland. With a wingspan of more than 2.5 meters, it's the biggest pterosaur ever discovered from the Jurassic period and last flapped its wings 170 million years ago. Its sharp teeth, which would have snapped up fish, still retain their shiny enamel. The fossil was discovered during a field trip in 2017 after University of Edinburgh doctoral student Amelia Penny spotted its jaw protruding from the rock on the Isle of Skye off the west coast of Scotland. The pterosaur has been given the Gaelic name Derg.
And now for sports news. All-rounder of the Sri Lanka cricket team, Wanindu Hasaranga, has been deprived of the opportunity to play in the first match of the current T20 series against India. In further sports news, Wanindu Hasaranga has been deprived of another chance to play in the T20 series against India due to being infected by COVID-19 yet again. Wanindu Hasaranga was infected with COVID-19 during the Australian tour, which has ended recently. As a result, he was not able to compete in the final matches of the tournament. Sri Lankan captain Dasun Shanaka said at a media briefing today that Kusal Mendis and Mahesh Theekshana are also in the injured list. They are facing medical tests and a final decision was scheduled to be taken today regarding their participation in tomorrow's match. If Mahesh Theekshana is unable to take part in tomorrow's match, there is a higher opportunity of either Praveen Jaivikrama or Jeffrey Vandersay replacing him. The first match of the series will be played in Lucknow. The interregimental gymnastic tournament is being conducted at the Sugatadasa Indoor Stadium. The gymnastic events of the annual event has commenced yesterday. 8 regiments are representing the tournament. The finals are scheduled to be conducted on the 10th of next month. That's all the news for today.